So here we are again today at a semi kind of Volkswagen salvage yard. Rescued what looks to be a 69-70 model. Pretty rough old car, but I think it's going to be restorable. I'm just mainly going to be using it for some parts. Got a couple more cars here I'm going to take a minute and show you and just see. You might have some interest in it. We're trying to get this area cleared up. They're getting ready to build a house here. Trying to get some of these cars cleaned up and try to save some of these old Volkswagens.
Who's interested in your parts car?
Let me get a little video right here.
Go ahead.
Because I've got some people looking for some cars. I just don't want to see them go to the shredder.
Well, I don't either, because me and Phil going a long way here, we're going to start cutting them up. I ain't going to let nothing go that'll build a buggy.
Yeah. Dude, I think you like old dune buggies as much as I do.
Yeah.
Here we go again. I rescued this 69 model I was telling you about earlier. Pretty rough old car. But there's something about these Volkswagens and going and getting them and meeting people and, you know, just working to get them on the track. Alright, so just a couple of things this morning. It's awful cold out here. I'm trying to get a little bit of work done today. So we're going to take a look at this 69 model I picked up yesterday. I've already kind of evaluated it. The car's pretty rough. But there's a lot of things on it I can use. The steering wheel, both tail lights, engine and transmission. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get the engine and transmission out today. One thing I do want to get off this car, it's pretty important. I want that 34 pit carburetor. I need that to go on plan A. So let's play a little betting game right here. If this engine's ever been out of this car, I would bet they didn't put the top bell housing back in on the driver's side. So let's just look and see. Oh Lord. We'll tell them what you're gonna see in these old junk cars sometimes. I don't even know that I'm gonna be able to get back here to it. So we got that. That's the accelerator cable. Again, like I told you before, look right here. Look how many hose clamps are on this car. And I promise you, this car did not come from Germany with one hose clamp on it. I'm gonna try to get this thing out the easiest way possible. Not really worried about saving any of the wiring. That's all pretty brittle. I'd be scared of it. But I want to I get this thing out, I'm gonna go ahead and spray some PB Blaster in the cylinders. Let it be soaking while I'm working on other things. I want to try to get it freed up. It's locked up right now, but I'm gonna try to get it freed up and see if we can't do a will it run video. See if we can't make this thing run. That'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool. You get to that other bolt from the other side. If it's in there, the case has an insert in it. It took me a minute to remember. The case actually has an insert in it, and it's a bolt coming in from the other side. So, don't feel like it was in there, not sure. It's still pretty rough. But one thing I noticed, first thing I looked for when I crawled under here, it's got a 388 in it. Don't know if that's been changed out or what. But you see it's a single side plate. This car probably should have had a 412 in it. Now that don't mean this transmission's any good, but we're gonna give it a chance. That's what I want to run in plan A. taking out the 412 and putting in a 388. So if this works, this is a huge score for Plan A. You can see floor pans in this car shot. That's very common. Very, very common. So we're going to work on getting this thing out. Glad I went ahead and took the time and effort to do that. Again, guys, I tell you all the time, safety first. You see I got the jack stands under it. Probably not the greatest idea to jack it up on the trailer and put jack stands under it, but it's pretty secure. I've already checked that, so it's secure. All right, let's get this thing out. Looks like the heater box, also that's something else I was needing. Looks like the heater box is going to be fine. So as I was looking at this engine and tearing it down, trying to get all the cylinders off of it, I noticed some metal that was lifted up. Well, that metal was some form of epoxy or JB weld or whatever. So as I began to flake it off, look what I found. I've seen this before. Engine probably threw a rod or whatever, and somebody built it back. Somebody JB welded over that hole or fixed it somehow. I don't believe I'll be using this one. I've got another one I can use. But I do want to continue to tear it down and see what I can get out of it. All right, so first thing I want to do this afternoon, I fooled with Plan A little bit the other day, and I noticed that all the plugs was smutted up really bad. So first thing I want to do this afternoon, change the plugs out in it. Steven made a run to Mr. Ed's this week, and I got him to pick me up some plugs while he was up there. So this car has NGKs in it, and I noticed, and Mr. Ed recommended them also. I noticed a lot of people using NGK plugs. I've just always been a fan of the Bosch plug. I'm just going to put these plugs in and crank it up and see if it's hitting on all 4 cylinders. One thing you do want to look at, I hadn't mentioned, anytime you're fooling with spark plugs, you want to check the gap on them. Main thing you want to do is make sure they hadn't been dropped and any of the porcelain busted off or the gap completely closed up. Spark plug can't fire if it don't have a gap. Make sure you get your wires back where they go. Take them off one at a time, put them on one at a time. And with these wires, as you put them back on, you can hear them latch. You can hear them sliding on the lock. Wow, that's just cool to me. Just a few minutes of putting a set of plugs in this car, get you fired right up. I figured the battery was going to be dead, and it struggled a little bit to turn over, but then it busted right off. These cars are aggravating. They'll test you to your very last wit's end. Man, they're frustrating, but they are so much fun. And people who love them, like myself, we love them. We love to fool with them. I get mad at myself sometimes. Why are you fooling with this junk again? It's just what I like to do. I love these old Volkswagens. All right, so tonight I've been working on quite a few different things. Blake's been down here helping me with the wiring on this car, trying to make that look really, really nice. We run it a couple of different ways and evaluated it and picked out the best way. So got all the wiring hooked up. Struggled with the accelerator cable. The new seals around the engine compartment kind of got twisted up, so I had to straighten that out a little bit. Fish the accelerator cable back through there, all the tubing that runs through. So we got all that hooked up. Put the carburetor back on. I went ahead and increased the jet size in the carburetor like I was talking about while I had that off. So now I'm gonna start running the fuel line. So went out and compared, looked at plan A to see which way the fuel lines were on it. Some fuel pumps are different. This one looks like a bottom fitting on the fuel pump goes to the carburetor. So that's what we're gonna hook up. Maybe wrong, we'll change it. Again, as I told you in the previous video, be sure you're using the correct fuel line. Not going to tell you that you're doing it wrong any other way. This is how I'm doing it. We've always used this fuel line. Never had any real trouble on it.